Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to cover up a bruise. You actually can't tell that I have a bruise on my face, but I do. You'll see it here in a little bit in the next clip. But I had a really crazy, freaky accident. I was actually putting up my pizza maker, which is kind of like a dome-shaped pizza maker, and it has a flap that comes up. Well, I thought the flap was secured, so when I went to put it up and put it on top, the flap actually came back, hit me on the head. I had this huge bubblegum size whelp, and then of course I put ice on it immediately. It went down, but now I have a black eye. So of course that's what I expected, because any head injury or even like a nose injury, anything to do with your face, more or less causes the blood to kind of flow and kind of be stagnant in certain areas, which leads to a bruise. So yeah, you guys will see that it looks really crazy when I don't have makeup on, but I will assure you that it doesn't hurt as bad as it looks. It looks worse than it feels. So yeah, the only place that I feel like a little bit of tenderness is like right here above my eyebrow. That's the only place I feel a little bit of tenderness, but other than that, everything else is, you know, fine. I don't hurt as bad. I honestly went to work today with the bruise on my eye, and nobody could tell that I had a bruise. I don't know why they couldn't tell. I think my eyelashes are just so long that it kind of covered it up, but yeah, they couldn't tell. I talked to some people for a long period of time, and then I wondered why they didn't see the bruising, but when I asked them, they were like, what are you talking about? And then they had to look close. I had to close my eyes and you could see the bruising on my eye. I haven't been wearing makeup to work, and I really don't plan on it because, you know, it's gonna get hotter and it's going to pretty much melt off my skin because I'm out in the elements all the time. And so the only time I'm really wearing makeup is in the evening if I go somewhere or on the weekends. So anyway, having said all that, let's go ahead and get right into me showing you some tips on how to cover up a bruise. All right guys, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I pulled you guys in close. As you can see, I have a lot of like green up here, red, some purple. I'm also getting some darkness right here on my inner corner, which honestly, it was not on my inner corner until this morning. So what I think it's doing is I think the blood's just kind of moving down. I have put ice on it. I put a heating eye pad on it so that the blood can actually break down. But as you can see, it's like really red, little purple. I've got some purple here, and then of course the green. So like I said, it doesn't feel like it looks, so it looks a lot worse than how it feels. So we're gonna go ahead and start with covering this up. So before we get started with applying the concealer stick or the correcting stick, I'm gonna go in with the Jaclyn eye primer. I'm gonna use an eye primer because I want everything to adhere to the eyelid, and the only way I know that it will do that is if I use an eye primer. I'm gonna use this brush here. I'm just going to spread that all over the lid. So I am going to go in with the Bobbi Brown corrector stick. This is in Very Deep Peach. Did pick the color out purposely because it's an orange base, and I do want to cover up a lot of the darkness that I have on my eyelid. So I'm going to take just a little bit of this, and I'm going to place this on the eyelid. This is a very like creamy product. It's easy to apply. It also covers up like that darkness. I will put a little bit on this eye just so we can have like a little evenness going on. I don't want it to be, you know, like off. So I'm gonna take the brush and I'm just going to buff that into the eyelid, and then I'm going to take this side and I'm just going to press, because this one I don't want it to be as thin. I want it to kind of just cover up that whole area and also get right there in the inner corner. So you see it is orange, but it's covering up a lot of that darkness really well. I feel like this is like the best bet for me. I am gonna put a little bit on my inner corner. I'm just gonna take the stick and just kind of pat it just like that, because like I said, it's starting to spread right there, and I do want to cover that up. So now that I've got this on and I've covered up most of the darkness, I want to go ahead and place a powder on top of that. And what I'm going to use is the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop powder. This is the brightening translucent, and I'm just going to take that same brush, I'm going to dip it into the powder, and I'm going to press this powder on top of that orange shade. And this is just gonna set that corrector. Now what I want to do is I want to go in with a concealer. Now I did use the Tarte Shape Tape concealer initially, and I felt like it was just too thick where my makeup wasn't going on as well, or my eyeshadow wasn't. So I want to go in with a concealer that has a thinner consistency. I did want to try the L'Oreal Infallible, but I think I'm going to try this one first. If I need a little bit more coverage, I will go in with this one. This is such a good concealer. It's not drying on my eyelids or my under eyes at all. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit on the top of my hand, and then I'll take the same brush and I'll actually place that on top of my eyelid. And this is just so we can have like some type of base, kind of smooth it all out. And I'm not gonna put too much on my inner corner because I am gonna go in with concealer here in a bit. I just want to kind of like mix up that orange, make it less orange. And I'm just gonna do it on this eye as well. So it just kind of gives that even look. So I do want to put a little bit of this. This has a thinner consistency than the Tarte Shape Tape. The Tarte Shape Tape's pretty thick. I still love it for covering up my melasma, but as far as the eyelids, I felt like it was just too thick. So we're just gonna go in with a little bit of this, and I'm just gently pressing. I don't wanna press too hard because my eye is bruised, and I can see like me having more issues with bruising if I press too hard. So I want to go in really gently with the brush. You can use a sponge for this as well. Today I'm using a brush because I feel like I have a little bit more control with the brush, you know, kind of putting it all over the eyelid. But as you can see, you can barely see where that darkness is. So what we're going to do is we're going to set that with the Can't Stop Won't Stop powder again. And we're going to use that same brush and just set that eyelid. We want to set it because when you set it with that powder, it makes a little bit more of a smoother canvas to put your eyeshadow on. So today we are going to go in with eyeshadow. I'm going to do my eyeshadow really quickly here on camera, and then I'm going to go off camera and then just go ahead and do my entire face. And then at the end, I'll just come back on camera and we'll finish off this video. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and do some eyeshadow. All right, so now we're going to go in with the Jaclyn palette. I've already done a look using this palette, but we're going to do another look today using some of the shades that I haven't used. And I'm just going to go over the shades with you as I go through like applying the eyeshadow. But as you can see, my eyelids look pretty much similar. There's no like really dark look to my eyes. I don't have a lot of creasing because I actually set it. So yeah, let me start with the shade that I haven't used, and we're going to do, we'll do Peanty Butter. I don't know why they call it Peanty Butter, but we're going to do Peanty Butter. And I'm just going to place that in the crease. I'm gonna go in with Buddy on top of that. It's like a gray shade. I'm using these Ariel brushes by Morphe, and they are super soft on the eyelid, which is nice because, like I said, I don't want to like disturb what's going on with the bruising. I don't want to cause more bruising. Okay, I'm gonna go into Bad Mousy, and I'm just gonna take it right in the crease, a little bit on the outer corner. This one's a little bit more of a brown, kind of like a cool tone brown shade. Instead, I'm taking that all over the crease and then on the corner. I do want to deepen it up a little bit. I'm going to go back in with Bad Mousy, and I'm just going to pat that on the outer corner and deepen up the crease a little bit. Then I'm going to go in with Family AF. This is kind of like a goldy, green shade. I'm just gonna pat that on there. Such a beautiful shade. As you can see, when I put these shadows on, nothing is moving around. It's going on like a normal shadow would. And I think it's really because I set that eye twice. This shade is so pretty. Can y'all see that? Isn't it gorgeous? Just gonna add a little bit more. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and go off camera, and I'm gonna put my foundation on, and then I'm gonna come back and do concealer because I want to show you how we're gonna cover this up so that it will conceal this bruise on the inner corner. I'll be right back. All right, so I put on my foundation, so we're gonna start with concealer. So what I wanna do is I'm gonna go in with just a little bit more of this orange corrector, and I'm just going to dab a little bit on the inner corners. I'm gonna do it on both sides because either way I have darkness under there. Like that's usually how my eyes are. I'm gonna take this brush and I'm just going to kind of blend it. And if you put a little bit too much, it's okay because I'm gonna put concealer over it anyway, but yeah, you see how I just kind of blended it, and especially right here on this corner, I put some on there. And then what I'm gonna do is go in with my L'Oreal Infallible concealer. This is a very nice full coverage concealer. I'm just going to dot there. And if you notice, I really didn't set this concealer like I set my eye. The only reason is because I'm not really gonna go in with like a powder product on top of it. I am gonna set it, but I'm not gonna set it to where I need to put another product on top. So I'm just going to dab very gently under there. And I put a little bit on the bridge of my nose kind of to blend everything together. All right, you see it did cover that up. I'm gonna take my Sephora Micro Smooth powder to set that concealer. I'm just using a brush to do this. So everything's nicely set. Nothing moves around. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of my face, and then I'll come back on here and we'll finish off this video. All right guys, so I put on the rest of my makeup. As you can see, my eyes don't really look any different. You really can't tell. So now you guys know that if you have some type of like freak accident like I did, now you know how to cover up a bruise. Now, what I would recommend if you're gonna be out in the heat, or if you're going to be somewhere where, you know, maybe you're gonna go for a swim, or you're gonna be somewhere where you're sweating, I would definitely go in with a mattifying powder that's waterproof to set the color corrector and to set the concealer. One of them that I really like is the Catrice Prime and Fine Mattifying Powder. This is waterproof. I think Urban Decay also has one. I think I have that too. It's a waterproof powder, so that way when you do put this on there, that sweat and water or heat is not going to melt that makeup off. So I would suggest something like that. I don't suggest like setting your eyes like with a setting spray. I don't suggest that at all, because that setting spray can get into your eyes and irritate the eyes. So that's why I say go in with a mattifying waterproof powder, or any waterproof powder for that matter. Now, I would definitely use anything from Bobbi Brown as far as these color correcting sticks. The reason being is because they're very creamy and easy to go on the eye. You don't want to disturb the bruise, make it worse. So you definitely want to go in with something creamy and not like, you know, too drying or where it's going to skip on your eye. You want to be able to put this on the eye and then blend very gently and cover where you need to. I would definitely try these before trying anything else, only because these have that creamy consistency to them. So I hope you guys enjoyed these tips on how to cover a bruise, and hopefully when I see you next time, the bruise has completely gone down or gone away. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate every single one of you. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.